Hello, hello, and welcome back. So in this video, I want to show update on the shipping crate. So I went through and put two coats on all the places where I want the orange to be. And I didn't put this on camera, but I also did a little bit of fine detail work here, touching on some of these fine lines on the top of the crate to give it some more definition. So with that being said, the next phase is for me to go back in with my dry brush that I like to use so much here. And I'm going to distress these edges of this shipping crate where we would expect to see some damage from being bumped. So what I'm doing is I'm using the brush that I would normally use to dry brush, but you'll see that I'm actually just tapping it flatly on these flat edges of the crate, which would be if if this crate were to be loaded by dock workers or droids, astromechs, you name it. Um, these would be the surfaces where we would expect to see some wear. So hopefully you can see that that translated exactly how I wanted it to. So I'm just going to continue around and it's okay to have a little bit more on your brush than you would normally have, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate that look of the metal that's underneath the orange paint that's being dinged up and scratched. So just going to kind of touch it there. There we go. Just like that. Doesn't have to be super scientific. In fact, I think the more scientific you become in these things, the less realistic it translates and looks. This is where we get to have some happy accidents. So I'm just going around. I'm using the same principles that I would with dry brushing, where I'm pulling off the majority of the paint on my brush. It's just that I'm not pulling the brush as I would with a dry brush, which would be these kind of motions right here. I knew I had very, very little on my brush that I wasn't going to be. So, and one of the nice things about these gnarled up brushes, I think I've said in past videos, like, don't throw them away. Hang on to them. Those are going to be the brushes that give you character. Paint's going to cling to the ends of bristles and places that just give a completely organic look when you are when you're doing dry brushing or accent work like this. It works to your advantage to have an old kind of, I've heard the term crusty brush, but not literally crusty. We don't want to have residual paint in the bristles, but or sweaty brush. You know, I've heard that phrase as well. Like, everyone's got their favorite sweaty brush. Um, I've got a nice collection of them myself, and this brush here is I'm it's perfect for this. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. And here I'm going to give it a little bit extra. Just sometimes you're called to do something that maybe you wouldn't have done on the other parts of the piece. Something just reaches and said, hey, I really want you to give that one some real definition. Some that one's been drugged up against a wall or another crate or something like that. So just going to finish hitting these corners. Again, the orange is still nice and vibrant. It's punching through. Here on the top, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add some wear right there. Pull out the extra. Do the same thing on the other side. Call it good. Again, we don't want to go excessive. Now, on these little pieces here, I don't know that it necessarily translates, but there's depth. There's a height depth difference between this edge that I just touched and this orange piece here. This sits lower. So if I were stacking these crates, these pieces here that I painted orange would not directly come into contact with another crate. So I'm not going to give them wear. I'm going to leave them be. So there we go. This is looking absolutely fantastic. Kudos again to Noble Bear Customs and Anthony for just an absolutely beautiful piece. And stick around. In the next, we're going to jump into some accent colors to make some parts look like they have electronics or they're lit up. So looking forward to that and looking forward to joining you in the next.